Indy housing market. Get the latest insights right here.
Welcome back to Indy Housing Market. I'm Kyle Morris with Morris Property Group and FC Tucker.
And I'm Shelly Walters with the Shelly Walters Realty Group and FC Tucker. And today we have Joe Sprunger. And this came about because I called you on a listing and you're like, you do that podcast and I think we need to talk. And I'm like, oh, what did I get in trouble for? But anyway, you are an appraiser, also
Yes,
a realtor,
correct.
also a pilot we'll talk about.
Correct.
And you said we have some big changes coming, so
We do.
we want to find out more about that. And agents need to be educated, it sounds like, so something big's coming. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So we're having a huge change on the way we submit the appraisal forms, right? So currently we do a 2.6, which is pretty much the old typewriter forms that have been digitized.
So what is that? Is 2.6? So is that like a reference to like CFR? So like I used to work for the VA or whatever. It's like Code of Federal Regulations. Is it like something like that's just what we call it?
No clue.
2.6. Okay.
He
No
just
clue where
does
the
it.
2.6 came
I appreciate
from,
the
but
honesty.
that's the-
Okay.
2.6 is what we're currently doing. So your appraisal reports you see now are 2.6.
Okay.
We're going to
How long have we been on the 2.6?
Probably about 2008, 2009, 2010. We did a
Okay.
big CU, collateral underwriting push, where they took out a bunch of terms and put like the Q ratings for quality and then the C ratings. So somewhere in that point is where we became 2.6.
Okay. And now what are we going to?
3.6.
What happened to like 2.7?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, I wonder if it like
Let's ask him what he does know.
Okay, so
I
What's
know-
3.6?
I know that he thinks that he is somewhere between like the devil and a savior, right? Because the appraiser either kills the deal or saves the deal. But
Right.
like that's such
Yeah.
a misconception.
No.
You know what I mean? But
We-
that's how, like you're probably afraid to tell people what you do.
In certain circles, maybe.
I tell my family and especially my daughters, like it's always Dad's fault, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
always the
He's used to
appraiser's
it.
fault. Like it's just always our fault.
Well, we've been told we should give you stuff when
Yep.
we have an appraisal coming for our listings.
Yep.
But then I get told that appraisers don't want to see it, appraisers do want to see it. So I always provide something. What do you normally see that, do you like
Yeah.
that you get stuff?
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yep. So 100% we want the data, and at least most of us do, and we want it before we come to the house. Don't leave me a packet at the house.
Yeah, because you have to scan that in too and all that stuff, right?
I
And
gotta scan it in, but I'm pretty much done on a purchase.
Ooh,
By the time I
interesting.
get to the house,
Because you've done all the data. Now you're looking at fit and finish.
yep.
Okay.
I'm verifying items.
Yeah.
One reason that is, and this could change between 2.6 and 3.6, is I have to go take comp photos of the houses that I'm
Yeah.
using as comparables. I
so
have
you're
to
that
do-
one freaky guy that's in the front of the house taking pictures that
Yes.
everybody talks about on Facebook? That's you.
That is us.
Well, it could
Now, is
also
that
be
new?
a predator. It doesn't have to
well,
be just him. Like I don't want you to
It's
know.
Is that
terrible.
new that you have to take those pictures now?
no, that's old.
Okay.
So in the new 3.6, we might not have to take those photos. The Fannie and Freddie are going to take that.
Aren't they all
requirement
there
away.
on the listing?
Correct, but they don't trust us that we drove by it. We say that we drove by it, so we have to take.
You're proving
make
you were
sure.
there.
Yes.
Which I think is fair. Like there needs to be some kind of verification.
Yeah.
But I also, the struggle I have with that is like just the idea that your license in the first place should cover all of that and ethics.
Yeah, trust
and,
you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I actually don't know how I feel about that because I trust you that you're good at your job. If you're not good at your job, then like we'll find out eventually in the first place, right? Like that's just the same with a real
Yeah.
estate agent, right?
Yep.
Or
That's right.
realtor.
So I want to get back to you need it before you show up. Like how
Yes.
far back before you show up? The day before?
Yeah, a day or two before, whenever I'm going to do
All
my
emailed
data
to you,
and
obviously.
pull my comparables to know, because especially on a listing, on a purchase, you have so much data on the MyBoard. Right?
Yeah.
I got the pictures of the home, I got the sales disclosures,
Narratives about new stuff also, right?
narratives about what. Yeah, so I'm reading those narratives and I'm looking for what did you say was updated,
Yeah.
and if you said nothing, nothing's updated.
Right. Do you look on the the documents that are attached
Supplements,
as well?
yeah.
Some.
You pull
Yep.
those up? Yeah, because that's where I put mine. My description of my house lists everything new on it.
Yep.
Everything new on it. And so that's helping my seller through the appraisal process?
Correct.
So you know what's
Awesome.
interesting is I used to be way more proactive about that and leave packets. I just haven't had appraisal issues. Like I feel like I'm pretty good at comping a house. Like I just have not run into issues. And it's interesting because you say you do it every single time. And historically
I've had too
speaking,
many issues where it fell apart, and that's the
And
day
I
I go,
haven't.
God, I should have done something, and it's too late.
And so that's what the interesting piece about it is like I have, and I mean I've done shit tons of deals, right? So like it's just interesting I haven't had or ran into it or luck, or like when I have dealt with it, it's like once a year, and it's just like not a heavy lift to address it or whatever. Because sometimes it's just like, I mean, do you really? Because there's things that I do to a house that I know basically just help get it back to the value that it should based off of comps that you're not going to care about or add value, right? Like when I go and change light fixtures, that does not add value to a house. When I go and paint a house, that does not add value to a house. It adds emotional appeal and desirability to hit the price that I priced it at, but it did not add value. It just got it to be supportive of the value that I was pricing it at for the comparables.
It got to the point where more buyers would be appreciative of the house's the way its condition is compared to
it's just super interesting. So what are good examples? Like I want to like the small things that you like to know about, because a lot of people like the big renovations. Like you're going to be able to tell, because do you ever pull the old photos of a listing?
Sometimes.
Okay, so like if somebody's like, hey, like we redid the kitchen. Like it's pretty obvious when you walk into a house from like 92, like there's an updated kitchen, right? Or not an updated kitchen. My guess is like mechanicals and roof, right? Because that's a little bit harder for you to verify, right?
Well, that's on the seller's disclosures finally.
Yeah, it is now.
If the sellers know or will tell you.
Since July of last year, right? And so what are the little things that you like to see that people underestimate adds value?
To the home.
Yes.
I don't think there's a lot of little things. So bedrooms and bathrooms and finishing basements are your top three. Mm-hmm. One of your worst things is adding a tree. A tree gets you no value at all. But they can be expensive, right?
Yeah.
So
or a deck.
Yeah.
People add a deck or a patio or like.
And what is in your price point? Are you going to over improve? If you put this $100,000 deck on, this subdivision, you're not getting that money back. I don't have a comp to compare it to.
Right.
Okay, so that one's interesting. Another one that we run into that I'm and I know you've probably dealt with this too, like all these houses that were built in like 02 to like 08, and they all have this office that it's got a door, it's got a window. And like I would be lying to you if I told you I have not built a closet in one of those to make it in a 3-bedroom to make it a 4-bedroom. And like I'm not fooling nobody, right?
But if it's
it counts as a bedroom,
right?
Yeah. Right?
Or does the size matter? What if it's like 8 by 8?
Okay, so functionality.
It's got the French doors as the bedroom doors.
Functionality issues. So
functionality, you can say, nope, that's not real.
With 8.8, might not adjust. So to be a bedroom, you got to have egress.
Yep.
So if you put a screen porch onto a bedroom, you just lost a bedroom. Because I got egress to the outside of the home.
Shit.
I've had that once or twice.
I've seen it off like a primary ranch and stuff, like an older 70s one or something.
If you don't have that egress, it's no longer bedroom by definition.
You have to go directly outside.
Yep.
Wait a second.
So we could lose a primary?
But if it's screened in, I'm outside.
I'm not calling it.
That's why we don't like you guys.
Not by definition. And then you do not.
Oh my gosh.
I had 2 CE instructors tell me you don't have to have a closet to have a bedroom. I'm telling you. You don't.
What do you say?
Well, functionality. Is it a small 8 by 8 closet?
Okay.
Well, okay, you can't fit everything in there, but is it a big
And you can put a chest
put an
in
armoire in like my grandma had?
You got a big 20 by 20 loft that, appraised the house the other day. You go up to these stairs and had like the secondary upstairs.
Yeah, I know exactly those houses.
Right?
Yeah.
You close the door, it's a full bedroom. You go to IKEA. You can build a closet. Don't spend money in.
And you count that? That
I'll
makes me
count
happy.
that as a bedroom.
Okay.
But here's the.
Because I've framed those stupid things in and putting a door in them, and and they have like these crap little. And you're like, it's a bedroom.
No, you don't need it. And
so when I go into the listing and I have my buyer with me and I'm getting mad because I see that there's only 3 bedrooms when they say it's 4 because there's no closet, I'm wrong?
Sounds like it, yeah.
When I do my appraisals, I'm going to say
new.
bedroom, no closet. I'm going to call it out.
Interesting.
Because the whole market, like you mentioned, reacts to
The same way.
The closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just because by definition it's a bedroom doesn't mean
I don't even know if the market does. I think the
Functionality.
market does because the agent does. Yeah, like
they
I
call
think
it.
we're the problem with it, because I'm like, this could be a bedroom, but it doesn't have a closet,
closet.
so you're gonna have to add. And like, well, we're
It's
not telling people
it's
correctly.
got egress, but
Things change all the time.
But what are people using their fourth bedroom for?
They're using it
Office.
as office
Office.
space. Yeah, I mean,
So our bedroom, bathroom
gaming
adjustments,
room, whatever. Yeah.
I'll have a 4-bedroom house that adjusts like lower than a 3-bedroom house. Now I'm making no bedroom adjustments. The market's telling me it doesn't care about bedrooms.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So don't get all worked up about bedrooms.
Okay.
Would be the
Well,
Well, that's
opinion
really
of it.
interesting.
part of it too is like I think it's dependent. So there's so much that's dependent on the individual professional you're working with. I would say that as a real estate agent, right? But also the appraiser matters, right? And like I mean, like this is called for what it is. Like there's people who are good at their jobs, there's people who are bad at their job. I don't care if you go to Qdoba, there's people who make a better burrito, right? Like, and so I have some appraisers who are proactive, reach out to me, ask questions, and then there's some that like if I needed something, like there's no chance I'm getting a hold of them. And part of that is necessary because of, I mean, you've been doing this, you said in the 2010s when you started, we had issues back during 08, 07, like that's why we have the Dodd-Frank Act. That's why we separated all of this because there was collusion involved and we were manufacturing numbers. Like all of it exists for a reason because we messed it up basically because we took advantage of a system, not us as agents, but as a society, we basically took advantage of it. So I like that there's a separation. I like that we do it the way we do, where there is now a pool that a lender submits it into, and then whoever grabs it. Now a lender gets to pick their pool, I guess, if that makes sense, right? Of who's in it, and they can kick people out of said pool. So that, but I like that there is separation to protect the consumer. But I also do like when an appraiser, if he has questions, calls, right? And I've had some who have called me on certain things, and there's some where I'm just like honest. I'm like, because I thought this, when we were talking about how to, like, I comp a ton of houses, and like I just feel pretty confident on how I comp houses. And so sometimes I don't even need to submit I just walk you through how I got there. And like, okay, that makes sense.
Sometimes you probably just like want to hear the confirmation of what you were thinking. Or did you come up with this idea? I have a question for you. When I first started back in 2008, I was handed a PDF sheet of paper that told me all the values of everything.
$7,500 for a bedroom.
Mine was $5,000 for a bedroom, $5,000 for a fireplace, $3,000 for a half bath, basement, depending on
Garage.
how much, 2-car garage, 3-car. Is that real?
Okay, so as an appraiser, we're looking for comparables with 30%, 25 to 30% of the size of the main and upper. We want to be within 25 to 30% of the comparables.
Okay.
They're a little bit different. Same basement type, same subdivision, ideally, same view that sold yesterday. Like that's what we want. And then, so I got a rule of thumb, like 30% of the sale price per GLA is a good
Gross living area.
Gross living area is the good main upper, is a good starting point for my adjustments, 30%. So if it's a $200, we're doing $60 of that adjustment. And then as I go across that grid, I'm looking at the comparables and how they're matching up. Oh, wait a minute, this is actually a little bit higher, a little bit lower. And with some of those features, it's like 1% is a good starting point for bedrooms and bathrooms. But then they're wanting us to be more accurate and tell you how and exactly why I did that adjustment.
Yeah.
And they're no longer taking the answer because I had this sheet back in 2008, what they always told me to do.
Yeah.
But it's an imperfect market also.
Correct. And it's fluid, right? It's dynamic based on how it goes up, how it goes down. So what if you sell a house in a neighborhood, like Fisher's is a good example. Well, Fisher's is probably a bad example because you could find it in a different neighborhood. Most of the houses have a basement. You don't. You're on a slab. You're a 2-story slab, right?
Yep.
But the quality of build is similar in this neighborhood versus like if you were to go out and find a house that is also 2-story non-basement. I start to get into more lower price points, if that makes sense, versus more of like a semi-custom build through like a Fisher Homes or something like
Sure.
that. That is like higher fit and finish, but this one just doesn't have a basement, right? Like over where I live, there's some stuff like that where like the front of the neighborhood is one way, the back of the neighborhood's a different way. And if something hadn't sold, and if you're in the back of the neighborhood, which is like a more expensive price point, but on a slab, would you go to some like Emerald Springs or something else that might be a different price point, if that may, or would you just adjust for the cost of a basement?
Both.
Because I've seen both ways. Yeah, so that's what I'm curious about.
I think probably the best method would be both. I need one
Okay.
in that. I need a basement there. I need to go demonstrate what a
Non-basement
would be. Then I can make a subdivision analysis and make an adjustment there
based on percentage.
based on percentage of median sale price. So if it is a nicer subdivision, then it sells at a higher price point. I can go measure the other one and make adjustments. And then which comp has the least amount of adjustments?
Is the better.
And you
It's the best
assign more
one.
weight to it. Okay.
Right.
So this is an art.
An art, but they want to make it in a science. It's going less, it's art and science, but it's becoming less art and more science is one of the frustration points that appraisers are hearing from the underwriters, from the GSEs.
But that's how there is such a feel to a house. I mean, I walked into a house the other day, and I was like, it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch, built in 02,
Yep.
and I was like, you're in this ballpark.
Yep.
Like, and I just know.
just know
I just
the-
know.
I
I've
call it
been in
the sniffer.
500 of them.
Yep.
You know. And then I can tell based on like updates and stuff like that we need to do. I was like, this is where you're going to be at. I was like, I'll go run the numbers to dial it in within a closer 10%.
Yep.
But like, I mean, I've just been in enough houses at this point.
How do you feel if your appraiser doesn't go to your house? Because we're going from like appraisers doing the inspection to having a third party give us the report. Does that make you feel?
Oh no.
I'll tell you this.
That's interesting.
I don't care if it appraises.
If it appraises,
Like,
then it's-
you know, and so if it doesn't, I would hope the appraiser's like, let me go walk it real quick because it's not. And maybe like, so I actually don't care.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
question I was just going to ask, has to go with this. Because there's certain things that are nothing to do with how many bedrooms, what the size is, square foot, whatever that has a basement, where it sits in the neighborhood. It's when you walk in and it's filthy, it's got cat pee everywhere. What do you do on that? That is all nothing to do with any number situation.
Condition. That's a
It's
condition
your
number.
condition thing,
Yep.
and you will take some hit on that.
They'll take some hit on that for sure. Because condition is probably one of the primary.
It's the biggest driver of market value. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
there's
So
a-
what would be the hit on that? Like I'm saying it's a $400,000.
feel, though.
I'm
Well,
curious. It's a $400,000
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So we can convince all of us agents, our sellers, clean your house. Just take
Yeah.
a maid through the house or have it. You
or
do
gasoline or whatever.
it.
So we want to try to find a comparable that's sold in similar condition, but nobody reports
You won't
that.
know. Yeah.
So what
Hey,
did
come
you
take
not
photos of my
report,
shit house. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you won't know because you couldn't go inside that house.
That house.
Oh, dude.
Because we don't put in the agent remarks. By the way, this one stunk really bad.
Terrible.
Or, yeah, that's
Smoke. So
smoke. Oh.
So I just went and looked at one. It was actually the 3-2 that I was talking about. And from my experience, a house that a smoker has lived in is a $30,000 hit. That is just what I've experienced. That is 100% made up qualitative data off of my experience of like I've sold them, and that I actually think it will continue to get worse because
Sure.
8 years ago, I could sell to another smoker. There are less and less other smokers to buy your house.
The buyer pool.
And we've
So
become
that's
more
why-
stigmatized about it, actually.
Yeah.
I
right?
think it's 100% hit.
100K?
100% hit. It's
Zero?
Not,
It's
it has no
worthless?
value. Yeah,
Has no value?
I wouldn't buy it.
Oh.
So how many?
I'll give you
buy-
$1 for it and fix it.
And you can fix it. That's true. I
Yeah.
learned something new about how to fix it.
It's super. So there's a couple of different ways, right? Like, I mean, first of all, anything that's porous is going to absorb the tar, right? Cabinetry is actually your biggest headache. But the easy solution is, first of all, you get your entire HVAC clean, you replace all the flooring, and then you encapsulate it. Like, that's what you do. It's
With
latex primer, latex paint, and it's actually fine. Nothing's going to, I mean, I'm not a scientist over here, but it's fine, But when you walk in, if I told that to a client, they have no idea what that's going to cost, and they think it's going to be $50,000 or $40,000, and it costs about $8,000.
I just
Yeah.
that to me is the hardest house to sell as a smoker.
Well,
I'm
the
not
problem
seeing
is,
them
is
as much
even
anymore.
if so, if I told you, oh, it was a smoker's house, and we encapsulated it, because it's so stigmatized, and rightfully so, or whatever. I used to be a smoker, right? You think you're sleeping in it, and you will still somehow ingest it through your lung system. Yeah, I mean, that's just what people think, right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't know the answer. Right?
I don't want to smell it. Sorry, we digress.
I love it. No, it's good.
So another one. Okay, this is a big one that I have learned more and more and more over, especially now that I was dumb enough to do it. Pool.
Yep.
No, you put a pool in.
I know. That's why I want to know what it's worth in his opinion.
A lot of times we're still giving plus. Some documents say pool brings down value.
Mm-hmm.
We're usually giving plus adjustments for it.
Isn't it a certain price point?
And I want a comparable that has a pool.
Right.
That's how I measure it. Show me a comparable with another pool. And then a lot of our underwriters and lenders and clients want 2 comps in 90 days. Well, if you're trying to find a feature, then you got to go way outside
Further
that.
back.
And
Are you still a mile away? Is that still the?
We like to be in a mile
perimeter?
away. Yep.
I have another question about that. But so back to the pools real quick. So I've heard, obviously, price point matters.
Yeah, a $2 million house
That
compared to a
pool is much different.
$300,000 house.
I've generally
Above
heard
ground.
25 is generally the number you're looking at. But also it can go up based on hardscaping, landscaping, blah, blah, blah,
Find
blah,
it.
blah. Right. And so I've seen it go up as high as $100K for the pool in the backyard and stuff like that. So I guess it's just dependent on comps. It's like everybody's like, this is what my house is worth. It's like, it doesn't matter what your house is worth. It matters what all the other houses are worth.
Correct. And
That's
what
the best
somebody
way to put it.
buy your house for?
Yeah.
And what's the buyer pool for the pool market, right? Is it high? Young families want pools. Some
I
don't.
always heard it's 35% of the buyer pool will want a pool.
Yep.
But that is determined by price point. In a $2 million house, I think it's expected 100% almost.
I'll
So
tell you
it's
this,
different.
as somebody who built a pool, I'd rather buy a house with a pool than be the idiot who put it
Oh, yeah.
in.
But the work that it takes.
Yeah.
Well, the cost it is
I had
today.
one. How far south do you go, real quick?
Johnson County, Morgan County.
Okay, so Morgan County. This is where I'm from. I'm from Martinsville, and there's a neighborhood I grew up in called Sharman Estates, right? And it's like a lake community-ish. It's where the fisheries are, bigger lots. And my parents passed away, and so I had to sell their house. Well, the house next door burnt down, right? And my dad bought that lot, right? So it turned this 1 acre lot with just a ranch on it, as a big ranch, right? Into like a 2.25 acre lot. And I had fits with the person who did this or the appraisal, because everything else in that neighborhood is like 3/4 of an acre to an acre, right? And so they were more concerned about finding stuff that was 2+ in acreage. And they were going 5 and 6 miles out, which is very rural when you get into Morgan County, right? And it just tanked the house because they were like downtrodden, distressed kind of rural properties versus like in this neighborhood. And they didn't use anything from in the neighborhood to comp it because of the
Acres.
lots.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are we doing here? At a certain, like we undersold it anyways. And I was like, I just need this number. So like, just make this happen. But I still thought it was like $75,000 off because they were more concerned about hitting one
Acres.
specific thing. And so I wonder, like, does that ever happen to you sometimes where you get like hyper focused on this one feature as you're talking about, and you kind of like lose the, I don't know what that saying is. You like
The tree in the woods.
you lose
Woods and
forest through
tree.
the trees or
One or the
whatever.
other. Yeah.
I was gonna say a more redneck version. I couldn't think of it, but I'm sure that happens, right?
Totally can.
Because you're like, how do I find the house with the pool?
Because I got to bracket that because I can't have an across the board adjustment. They don't like across the board adjustments.
What does that mean? Walk me through that.
Okay, so you're the only one with the pool. None of the comps have a pool. I can't put a $25,000 bump on all of my comps.
Just
I gotta
because.
have one
'cause
comp
you don't
that
have
has
one that-
zero or
okay.
one that comes negative, right? I could have a superior pool. They just really
They don't like you manufacturing a number basically without a data
coming
point.
up without a data point. So I got to justify these numbers, and maybe I could run a little bit of a cost approach and figure out some depreciation and. Maybe
How
come up
long
with
does
that.
it take you to do an appraisal?
Yeah, I used to
Depends
say-
on the house.
Depends on the house.
Yeah,
right? So
but-
maybe 4 hours in general is kind of what I always said, but I've never kept track of.
So
exactly
how
what-
many appraisals do you do in a day?
Oh, that's a great question. So our team of 7, 2 part-timers, 1 admin, does about 20 to 25 a week. is kind of what we're averaging.
For you, though, if you're doing them it takes you about 4 hours. You can only do so many in a week.
So many, correct. So you're limited.
Wow.
And our firm focuses a lot on training appraisers. So we currently have 3 trainee appraisers on our staff, and that comes back a little bit to my pilot career, because for such a long time I was a flight instructor. So I've taken that flight instructor experience and I've turned it in, and now I have trainees. And so I trust them. They do great work. They have a trainee license in the state of Indiana.
Do you ever have them like, hey, get this started, run it, and then I'm going to circle back and kind of
Yep.
like finalize
Yep.
it?
They do that. And then sometimes they can be the one to sign the report. And so they'll just go off and do it, and I'm totally supervisor and checking off.
You basically do it all, but
things.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you
They
ever,
just do all the entries and everything. Okay.
Do you ever reach out to one of your teammates and go, I'm lost on this one. Can you give me an
Yeah.
idea?
We collaborate all the time,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling you that. Like, I even do that on my team where I'm like,
Yeah.
man, like, I feel really good about this. But it's a
need some
very
eyes.
unique house. And so, I want somebody else's feel on it. We've done, especially in the past couple of years, we've done some very unique properties, and we've started to do pre-appraisals on certain houses,
Yep.
right? And then I provide it, whenever people are submitting offers or whatever. Like, I don't just put it on there. It's, I just let people know when they're interested. But I was talking to my team member on one the other day, because we got an appraisal back, and he's like, I feel like appraisals are a little aggressive right now, right? Which is one of the things you said if appraisals are over purchase prices and list price, it's indicative of a falling market.
Could be.
Could
Absolutely.
be.
Yep.
Could be.
And that's very interesting you said that. Explain that more.
Yeah, so if we're appraising using the comps and we come at $315 and the household for $300, well, now that $300,000 house will be the next comp, going forward for the next 90 days to a year. And so that could be one of the primary, or one of the pre-indicators of a dropping market, because the appraisals are coming in at a higher value.
What's interesting, though, is because like last year is the best example of it that I've seen since I've been an agent. There's like hyper focused markets within the market. So like last year, we had a very aggressive market from like February 15th to middle of May. And then the ass fell out of the market from May to October, right? Because buyers weren't buying.
Yep.
And sellers were dropping prices thinking it would sell a house, and it wouldn't. And it would just cascade, and everybody was panic dropping, right? And I was like, we're priced fine. There's just not buyers, right? Now, there's agents who would be like, if it's not selling, price is the problem. Well, sometimes it's not. There's not enough buyers, right? Like, it's not everything's a blanket answer. But then everything that was getting priced in January was based off of a dropping market. Right? And then it got aggressive again, right?
Yeah.
And so pricing within the past 12 months, if you don't pay attention or sell enough to like know, you're mispricing houses, because we had 2 markets last year and are in a different market this year, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you adjust for that?
Yeah.
Because do you look ever at, and this is hard because you look at the final sales data, right?
Yep.
But there's houses that sold in August that were priced here, sold down here, but were actually priced correctly when they went on the market. How do you handle that?
Yeah. A little bit different. So Fannie and Freddie, the GSEs, they want us to make a dynamic time adjustments. So this kind of came out in the last 24 months.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, they did a form with like the 1004 MC, they call it. It's in there, and it has like the 6-month data, the 3-month data, and the current data.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh, that's
remember that.
interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
And now they're saying a lot of appraisers say that's a trash form. It's terrible. So we subscribed to a software and uses some AI, and so now we have a monthly chart. So now I'm looking at your pending date, and I'm adjusting per a market. So it could be an overall stable market, and I could have positive adjustments and negative adjustments, or I could call it a negative market currently and still have positive adjustments on some of the comparables, because we're trying to measure it on the curves and the month.
So I remember
Yeah.
back in the day, we would say way back in the day when I started 2008, it was not uncommon that you would go back a year.
Yeah. Yep.
Then it became 6 months.
Yep.
And then in 21 and 22, it became no more than 3.
Yep.
Where are you now? How far?
Yep. what do I need? So where's the market, right? If you're in a subdivision with a plentiful of data, then 90 days is what I should use.
Is
But if
that the
there
best? Is that like you really don't want to go past 90 if you don't have to?
180 would probably be
Oh,
the.
really? Okay.
So 6 months ideally would be the number to go back. But we'll go back a year, and then sometimes I'll go back more than 2 years. But now I got to tell you,
You got to adjust,
why.
right?
Yeah. Especially if it's like a large, unique house
Right.
or whatever. Yeah,
And so underwriters got to understand like this is the best data, right? One with the one in the subdivision without the example you gave earlier, without the basement, there's maybe a house that sold there 2 years ago, and now my time adjustments are better, and I can make adjustments for 2 years house.
Yeah.
And
We
have
comped
the
a
comp.
house. We just sold it. It's like 8 acres, 8,000 square feet out in Danville. It's an amazing house, absolutely beautiful house. But we were having to look at comps in Zionsville, Hamilton. We had to go out to find
Yeah, good. That
like
makes me
for
feel
like.
better.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just not an accurate representation of the house. I'm trying to make it work
Yeah.
based off of like some parameters that are almost
Yeah.
made up. And when it's like,
It's just in your head, though. You're like, I know this is different. It should be.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
find it.
yeah, it
And
was
then
a very
but
unique
you compare
property.
that with location that we've heard for so
Yeah.
many times. So what is an appraiser supposed to do?
And then we hold you like you're supposed to be perfect,
Correct.
which is insane.
I want a question about the multiple offers.
Yeah.
So, like, I just had one that is listed at 425, and we've got 451, and then I have. This is where I'm saying when I'm handing you stuff.
Yep.
I'm saying, but we had multiple people wanted the house for this price.
Yes.
We were this close. Does that matter to you?
Yeah. Send it to me. But here's what usually happens: you pick the highest one.
That's what I want to know. Why you need to know that I picked the highest one,
So you
and
picked
why
Not always,
it got
not always.
why it ended up there.
Yeah. So multiple offers. Here's a 450, but all your other offers at 425. Like, so when I ask people to send me those data, a lot of times they don't, because we all know there's only one crazy guy out there at 450, but the typical market's at 425.
Yeah, and you need to see that.
Yeah, I mean, don't be shocked.
So
I mean,
offers
well,
matter. That's what I'm trying to
yeah,
figure out. Is
as a
all
s-
the offers that came in, will that help show why we
Sure.
escalated?
Yeah, if that helps, yeah, absolutely.
And
but
then,
but those offers that came in might not be helping you as a selling agent, because those other offers might be,
Right.
But you
That's where
guys-
we have the appraisal gap.
yeah.
We asked for
We
the
have
appraisal gap.
dude, there's so
That's
many
right.
like interesting like one-offs that I have that like are just fun to banter about, right?
Yeah.
I sold another one in the same neighborhood my parents grew up in, or that I grew up in, and I got, oh my gosh, I can't 10 over list offers on this thing, and none of them gave me appraisal gap guarantees.
Yep.
Because they were like, you're underpriced, and I'm like, I just sold a house in here, and like I said, my parents' house didn't even appraise at value. I had to fight
Yeah.
to get it up, and everybody's telling me I'm undervalued. I'm like, I'm not. Like, you're not comping correctly, and like, I just don't see consumers asking me all the time, what do you think this house is worth? I personally do not believe that agents intentionally overprice homes.
Or
I think they're
underprice them.
Yeah, or
either
underprice
one.
them.
Everybody's always like, "Oh, they underpriced
If
it."
they
on
underprice
purpose.
it, it's because of condition, most likely. Right?
Usually, yeah. But they accuse you of that if it went to multiple offers. They did that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know. What is
what
it?
is-
I mean, you do all of these from different agents, from
Yeah.
different counties, from different brokerages.
Yeah.
Like, what's your error rate on these?
Right.
Of like houses being off. Like, it can't be that big.
Yeah, so we should be appraisers should be within 10% of each other. Well, if we have the same amount of data on the same day, we'll be within about 10% of each other in an ideal world. And then you're just looking at, I don't know how to really answer that question, Kurt. Like how do I?
Like, you do all these appraisals. You're doing
Yep.
25 a week. How many of them do you see consistently off in a week?
That you can't appraise.
That aren't
Oh,
within,
sure.
You
that
can't
aren't,
get to
gotcha.
value.
that aren't
So-
within a 1 to 2%.
so our
Because I think 1 to 2% is understandable because it's like, what did you assign a value to,
yeah
right?
we appraise we're probably at contract price 90% of the time.
Yeah, see,
Do
that's,
you?
like-
This is where everybody I know they say is, do you try to get there or do you not care? I'm going to come in with my number and I'm just going to say what I think. Or do you see the price and go, I'll figure it out? Like what? I know you have a job and I
Yep,
know you have
yep.
a reputation and I
Yep.
know that your company's counting on you.
Yep,
But
yep,
is
yep.
there a little part in your heart going, I don't want to kill this deal?
So
let's forget the obvious that you could lose your license,
right?
go to jail. Like,
I'm just
No,
like,
that is so
if
true.
if you're like at 2,000 or something, like You still have to find the numbers to show that, right? You just go find another house, or
So yeah, so no. I have about 3 different answers to that question. It's such a good question. So
Because you
don't have to answer it at all.
we are supposed to analyze all listing, sales, and contracts in the last 3 year, and then the last sale for the subject sale for 3 years, and then every listing contract. We're supposed to analyze all that. So I'm supposed to analyze this contract, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not supposed to be hitting this number,
Yeah.
right? So and then to go back to your pre-listing appraisal, when I do a pre-listing appraisal, I'm usually more conservative.
aren't those always lower than they really will end up with a lender?
Man,
That's what I've always heard.
Because I feel like if I got this range. Okay, here's another thing that says appraisals are not exact numbers. We're not exact numbers,
Okay,
but there's an exact number on there. We round to a number, right? We never have and $5. We're not that good, but what should that rounding be? And in reality, there is like Jason Tillma with Education Resources. He just said recently it should be a range of numbers. Like the
That
number
would
should be a
nice.
range.
Yeah.
And so
That
in
would be,
that
yeah.
range, if I'm doing a pre-appraisal, I'm like, hey, here's kind of my range, and I'm going to go here, upper middle. Inventory short, I'm going to go to the upper.
That's what I
Inventory's
do for
high,
my sellers. Yeah.
it's going down less.
Yeah.
If I have a purchase, I have 2 agents that are hopefully educated. I have a buyer and a seller. There might be some emotion involved, but there is a number. Like, why is it not that number?
Yeah,
And then
I
if
like
you go
that.
to all the, if it comes in low, we have a reconsideration of value.
Yep.
You guys get one shot. Try to get it up. You can go get a second appraisal.
That's like calling your baby ugly. That's what
So we don't want to say, it's really hard for us to say, oh, we were wrong, right?
Yeah.
There is this data. Maybe I missed it. Maybe a comp wasn't put correctly in my
Yeah.
bore. Like, that never happens,
No,
right?
I've
so
never
when
heard
you
of
do
it.
your search, you miss a comp. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's a really good
Yeah.
example why the ROV process is there and a good process.
Yeah,
to-
the
to
Carmel
be in.
Westfield thing, zip code, all that stuff. Oh, wrong town.
Yeah, it's all about townships. Appraisers
So-
like townships.
I know we're going to run out of time, so we could
We're gonna
talk
keep
more.
going up.
We could ask you question after
do
question
you
because I've got like
do-
9 more, but we
What
need
do
to
you
talk
do
about
with
three points.
houses that are sold off market, not in the MLS? Because it's still sales data, and you guys still see it.
But if it's on the MyBore, a lot of my markets ran off of MyBore, so
Okay.
it's not getting collected in that data.
Okay.
So it's
all right.
kind of missing. And the data has an asterisk. We were talking about new builds before the show, right? Like, it's not all their supply is in the market analysis that we do.
Yeah, they
and-
don't put
but-
them in.
But that is just everybody.
That's where I see the most appraisal problems.
Oh yeah,
Is in new construction.
yeah.
They don't care.
There's concessions,
all, yeah, the concessions
analysis,
and
there's a lot of issues, and then was that, yeah, there's just a lot of different.
well, and I
issues
just
there.
want to say really quickly, when the analysis is being done, no matter if you used an agent or didn't use an agent, that is still in the price. They
Yeah.
don't change the purchase price of a listing just because an agent wasn't
Correct.
used, and a lot of the public thinks that.
Do you pay attention then to concessions made that are supposed to be put into MyBore, right?
Yeah.
So it's closed now, so I don't have a problem talking about it. I sold one in Meridian Kessler, sold it like in a day, and it is so far. It's since July of 24. It is the first actual transaction I've seen where the buyer paid the buyer's agent commission, right? That's over 250 transactions I've done since July of 2024, and it's the first time I've actually seen that happen. The net for my seller, that house was an 865 house, I think, something like that. It was the equivalent of an 890 sales price, right?
For net.
I'm following.
Does
Yep,
that make sense?
I'm tracking.
So
Yep.
like if they would have just said, "Hey, but you're paying it," they would have paid 890 instead of the 865.
Yep.
And like that is something that potentially could have to start come into play of like what is the actual value
Correct.
of a house, because that's what that price is indicative of.
Yeah.
Is an 890
Yeah.
when you actually do the net sell. Right. So I don't know. You probably haven't dealt with it enough to even like really walk
and
through
whether
it.
or not people even put that in there. Like,
Well, they have to now because you have to say
yeah, you check
who
that
paid
box,
it,
yeah.
right?
I
But
just did
That's
one.
in MyBore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that when we
It's a
close it
question
out,
we
we
have.
have to put to actually close out transactions now. We have to say who paid the buyer's commission.
And I just had one that my seller just had to finally sell, just had to. And I checked, it's the first time in a long time I checked the box. Very motivated. And there's a motivated. So I didn't, for you as a
Sure.
appraiser, do you see that? Oh, that was a motivated sale. No wonder it's 20,000 under everybody else. Do you throw those out or do you add the 20 back in or?
So if you have a list of like subdivision comps and one's real low, we can totally
throw it out.
take that out, and
Yeah.
maybe the real high one, we take that one out, right?
Yeah.
Or you have a reason, or
outliers,
you
yeah.
can maybe call the agent, or the agent remarks maybe when you close. Go ahead and put that information in there.
Yeah, okay.
I have gotten phone calls from appraisers about houses that I've closed on.
Yep.
That are not.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely have gotten those phone calls.
Well, tell us about 3.6 before we lose you here.
Yeah.
So tell us why
Right.
you're here. You've got to
Yes.
tell us what's coming, and agents need to pay attention.
Yeah, for sure. So the timeline is they became limited production in last September. It became broad production in January, and it's going to be mandated November 2nd of this
Okay.
year. There's your timeline from Fannie and Freddie. One of the points of interest is our software won't be fully operational till the end of September. September to November, there's not a lot of gap there. That's why I think that we could have a messy transition. 3.6 is, you guys ever do the read your own books growing up? Did you do a read your own book growing up?
Yeah, I know how to read.
Yeah, no, your own book. Come on.
I never
Am
had
I
a
the
book.
only one?
I'm so confused. I didn't
I
have
know
a
what
The
you mean.
book.
children's
I know.
book, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
read the book, and then like you're like, hey, if you want to go around the mountain, go to page 8.
Choose your own
if you want to
adventure.
go, choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, yeah. You like read your own book. I'm like,
huh?
I know how to read.
No,
Just
choose your own
I
adventure.
don't like to read, so no.
No
So
wonder
choose
you
your own
look- no
adventure. I
wonder
love
you
those
looked at me.
books.
Yes.
It's like, hey, if I want to go through the cave, keep reading.
Yes.
If you want to go around the mountain, go to page 72.
I never heard of
Dude, they're awesome.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's 3.6. So no longer are you going to have a 1007 form or the two-family 1025 form.
Okay.
You're going to call for the appraisal. Now, if it's single family, we'll select that, and all the single family comes up. Oh, there's an ADU or carriage house. Oh, now all that stuff's going to be filled up. Oh, it's a two-family. Oh, it's a condo. And so the form is going to be very dynamic.
more work for you.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And the data.
4 hours just went to 8.
Way more data entry.
Way more data entry, way more keys on the stroke is what I'm heard. I have not done my first one yet. I've only did a shadow one at one point, and I realized the software is
You don't have the software
not
yet.
ready yet. Maybe we'll switch companies. I don't know. So I can't say that with certainty, but the data that they're saying that's required, like each room now, you got to report. Right now, so you report the flooring of the whole house in one line. Now I got to report the flooring of each room. So just the time that it takes to encapsulate that, to fill
Who
that
cares
out.
if it's luxury vinyl plank or carpet? Does that really matter in the price?
Does the market, right? But
When I do reloads, I have to do this. And it takes...
Oh, yeah, the reloads are horrible.
And not just that. So the part that people don't think about, I'm not just doing it on the house. I have to do it on
3 comps.
the comps.
Yeah, yeah.
And then for reload, I have to do it against competition and comparables. So it's 6, right?
Yep.
Then plus the subject property. And it is 4 hours of just data entry. And that's not even me getting the price. That's data entry.
data entry.
Yeah.
One podcast guy said he did a home in 20 minutes, and then it took him in 3.6. He went through the home and took him 75 minutes.
Yep.
That's a huge increase in time.
So I have a question. Around November 2nd, should we be very cognizant of this potentially causing a longer pending time period? Maybe not 30 days anymore?
45.
Right? Have the appraisers, have they practiced? Are they ready? Is it going to take them a whole day instead of 4 hours? Is it going
Yeah.
to take them 12 hours? I think I would be ready for it. And, have
And then
your
on top
buyers
of
ready
it,
and
one of the
sellers.
things you talked about is time is money.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
what is the cost associated with this, and where is the cost absorbed? Is it absorbed by the consumer?
Yep.
Is it absorbed by the lender, which we know that won't happen? Is it absorbed? I mean, who knows where this cost
Yeah.
is suddenly going
Right.
to go? Is
Oh,
it,
I would say the buyer is going to start making some
Will it roll
adjustments.
down? And if it rolls down, it always hurts the first time home buyers.
Oh, yeah.
Percentage wise, is so much more than the luxury.
What is
home
it now
buyers.
about, though, for appraisal? 700?
5
5
to
Okay.
6.
5 is where you're going to get, which is about, what is that, 0.75 to 3.25% of the closing costs.
Yeah.
Like if you do the math, it's around that, so you might double up to 7.
Sometimes when I do like for my pre-appraisals, like I've had it as high as like 8, but it's like 10 acres. But, you know, I mean,
My highest-
even that is pretty for what you're doing. I think it's pretty reasonable.
My highest fee's been 2,000.
Super dynamic property.
Gosh.
Big property,
Yeah.
big time consuming, and
Yeah. I don't
so
know.
I think so. Will the prices go up? Here's the deal: as I get more appraisers on my staff, then I got to fill up my weeks, right? So if I got nothing to do, I'll drop the price. Supply and demand. It's our own little mini market, right?
Yeah.
And then, but they say that maybe 10 to 40% of appraisers will retire with 3.6.
I can see that.
It's one of the dropout.
It's going to be
Yeah.
one of the dropouts. We already have an aging population, and so then they came up with the waivers and third parties doing the inspections. So will those become more popular? Do you, as a buyer's agent, do you want to accept a waiver? As a seller agent, you do.
I've been getting those more and more.
Yeah.
And I think
Is
it
it
gets
in your
back
best
to
interest?
the 2008 Dodd-Frank and all that stuff is when all of a sudden the appraisal waivers started happening. All I could think about was back in the day, like that would never be allowed. And all of a sudden it's getting, to me, I feel like that gets loosey-goosey in a way.
That's right.
You know what's interesting though is like, you know, when we were dealing with way more appraisal waivers, right, or massive appraisal gap coverage, you know, people be like, is this going to be worth it? I was like, the problem you have is like, as soon as you close, you're a comp. It doesn't matter.
Right.
That is the
That's been
market
crazy.
Be the
value.
market value.
That's the reason a 20% increase
You want to be
for
the
2
first
years in a
guy who
row.
does it. That's
right.
all. You just want to be the
And
first guy who does the appraisal gap coverage.
That's crazy,
Because
too.
after that, your property values will go up automatically, right? That's
Well,
just
they
the
also,
reality.
like, why would I pay more than I was just told it's worth? Because 4 other people wanted the house and you did too.
Yeah.
You pay.
It's crazy.
We pay for more than what everything is worth. And all our other purchases,
Don't get me
every other
started.
purchase, right?
Don't get me started.
So during
I
this
just bought a $4 Coke.
during this time, like, okay, you're going to be paying more maybe than what the house is worth, but you still
loved
need a
it.
place. You still need a place to live.
You obviously loved it
Yeah.
more
My-
than the other person.
And like, I mean, the market just can't go up forever and ever, supposedly, I guess. You know, I think it's steadied out more over the past year.
But not recently, man.
But I can remember, man, like when I was, like I tell this story pretty often, like right when COVID was going on, and I can remember talking to Angel at the time, and I'm like, I'm just writing insane offers that I am not comfortable with. And she would sit there and she's like, I had clients 3 years ago telling me that houses were overpriced. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
2017,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, oh, they're like, we're going to sit on the sidelines until
Yeah.
prices come down, right?
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. But I remember I wrote this one clients, they're amazing. We wrote 50K over, didn't get it. We wrote 80K over, we didn't get the house. We wrote 100K over, we didn't get a house. We basically wrote a blank check, which I had to like triple check with them that they were okay writing this offer.
Sign this document first.
Yeah. Right?
I talked to Angel. I was like, I'm not comfortable as a professional doing this, right? Like, this is not okay with me. And they basically told me, we bought Apple early. We're good. And I was like, whatever, you know. And we bought that house. I actually thought it was $5,000 overvalued, and we paid $200 overvalue, right? And that stupid house appraised. We brought nothing to the table. And I'm
Wow.
like, and the person who sold it was a real estate agent. So she priced it accurately too. And I don't know how it freaking appraised. I don't really care because they didn't have to bring an extra $200K. And after that, I've just looked at appraisals and I'm just like, that is their lane. That is not my lane. I do
Yeah.
the best I can. They do the best they can. And like the cards will fall where they do. And when you look back now, they underpaid for that house because that was like August of 2020. And prices have just gone up since then.
Well,
and so they
yeah.
actually,
If we
compared
all
to
would
what
have
the
been
house is
buying
worth now.
houses in 2020, we say that too when buyers are like, I'm just going to sit and wait. No, yesterday was the best time to buy. It's always yesterday. It's
Yeah.
never tomorrow because it's just going to continue to go up unless we have a 2008 all over again. There's not going to be a reason for us to start seeing
And then we're all
prices
screwed.
slide.
Not just you, we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's just not how it works. I don't know. It's super fascinating. I love talking about appraisals. I personally think the most annoying thing that I deal with as an agent is, and that's saying a lot, is other agents who call me asking me how I got the value of a house.
Yeah, show me your comps.
Because you
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
matters? is what you think of the house, not me.
Yeah.
Right. And like, especially, this is going to sound really bad, and I don't want to say it this way, but I also don't care. Older agents. That's who calls me about that. And they say, "How I can't get the value of this house. How did you get it?" And I'm like, "No, I just grabbed it out of the air." Like, what do you mean? Like, I spent hours putting it together. This is the value I'm at. And guess what? It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the appraiser thinks.
But
Yep.
the appraisal is just for the bank. In theory, where it's just it's a tool for risk management for the bank.
That's the best way ever. It's a tool for risk
Management for the bank as they figure out what the
Because
process
they care if
is.
it goes in foreclosure. And can they get their money
Can they
back?
get their
Because
money
they don't want to own real estate.
Correct.
They don't.
No, I was told too, and I don't know if this number is true, but back in 2008, 9, and 10, when everything was happening, is they wanted to short sale. They would just really hope it'd short sale because it was what I was told was $90,000 to foreclose.
I believe
What
it.
it would cost a bank to foreclose on, and that's why it took 2 years for the house to sit there. Not only did it cost them $90,000 to lose on that house, the house has now lost its air conditioner, all the appliances in the house. It's been destroyed because everybody came and just ripped everything off of it. So that's why they want to know what the value of the house is, so they can sell it when they need to.
We got to get into stats too, but I have one other weird question. So, because you're a pilot.
Oh, no.
And dude, we have to go down this. Yeah, this is a tangent, man. Because I can't sleep on a plane. I'm about to take an overseas trip, and it is horrible because everybody is asleep. I'm the only person awake. The only good benefit is that everybody who doesn't eat their meals, like, they'll give me the extra food. It's awesome, right? But like, I'm just wide awake because I told you I'm a control freak. So I'm like, who's gonna fly the plane?
Yeah.
Even though I have no idea how to fly. But this is gonna sound so bad, and like, people are gonna be afraid of me. But when I'm on a plane and you go back and you're like, I have to go pee, and I'm like, I have to sit there because like my brain just wants to like open the door for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, it's a door. You're supposed to. I just want to see if it works. Right?
Which door?
The airplane door, dude.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That
You can't. So that's what my friend
door?
said.
The
She's a
door to
stewardess.
the outside of the plane?
Yeah, dude.
No, to get into the cockpit, right?
No.
No, he has to
Oh.
go.
Yeah.
You couldn't open it if you wanted.
That's what I've heard because the pressure is so
Pressure.
much about
Oh.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always want to be like, I just want to see what happens if you open the door at 20,000 feet
Yeah.
and feel like it's like it would suck me out.
Yeah,
Which
suck
sounds
you
so
right
bad.
out.
People think
Terrible.
I'm a sociopath. I'm like, I don't know.
That has happened to people.
I've never opened a door, so
Okay.
I'm not a flight risk. But like my brain is like, I just want to see what happens. Yeah, it's so bad.
You are so weird sometimes.
Oh, dude, I'm super weird. Hey, first of all, everybody has thoughts like this. I
Appraisals
just say
from
it
I
out
just
loud.
want to open the door so
Door.
we all get sucked
Sucked
out.
out.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I can't be the only person who's ever thought that. I'm like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought that?
No, not really.
Have you ever thought that, Raquel? Oh my gosh, there's two of you in the room. Of
There's-
course there are.
Yeah, but me and Raquel are so
I was gonna
similar. It's
say. Oh my god.
Like, I have to sit there and be like, don't open the door. Don't open the door.
I don't ever
Oh.
want to. I just want to know what happens.
So
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, I don't want to do it because the problem is if you're the guy who opens the door,
You're
the
first
guy
out.
going out.
I won't
And
let
every-
my intrusive thoughts win on that one.
Yeah.
But I think about it.
and it matters a lot, like appraisals, right? Where you're at. Are you at 10,000 feet, 5,000 feet, 30,000 feet, 40,000 feet?
Because it's the air pressure.
Because the pressure of the
yeah.
airplane is all different.
That's what I do. So Ashley, who's an agent in our office, she used to be a stewardess. She's amazing. She's like, there's so many like parameters against idiots like you. Like you're like, I'm like, thank goodness. Okay. This is really interesting. I do have one last question. Are you allowed to promote that you are a real estate agent and an appraiser?
Yeah. So how I do that, a lot of times it depends what hat I'm on, what hat I wear. When I'm your appraiser, I am independent. I don't really care what you think. It's what does the data think. I care what you think as a data collector,
Yeah.
but I'm independent. As an agent, I got your best interest in mind. As a selling agent, I don't mind if it's high, right? I don't really care if the appraisal comes in accurate or inaccurate as long as it meets that value. As a buyer's agent, that's a different role because now I want my buyer's best interest in mind. So, and then there's also between Tucker and branch appraisals. Those are two separate businesses.
Yeah.
And so Tucker has some rules on how you do it, but I also should disclose everything, right? So I disclose that I'm a certified appraiser on my email thing, just so it's disclosed.
I just think it
is
would
how
be very beneficial to you.
I think so.
I just hope you take advantage of that because it's really hard to, like, what do you think my house is worth?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what it's, because I'm the guy who
Oh, by the way,
decides.
here's this
Now,
hat.
I don't decide.
I'm going to tell you.
Here's the hat. Here's the range. I think we're looking at days on market like you do, right?
Yeah.
Experienced agents do the same thing, but yeah.
I think it'd be very, very beneficial for you. So I hope you get to take advantage of that. I hope people see this or hear this, and they're like, "Hey, you do that." Now, obviously, you're not the guy who decides, because a peer would, right? If that makes sense.
Correct.
But you are going to be way more accurate than most real estate agents. I mean, that's just. I'm not trying to disparage
say
my
so,
industry,
for sure.
but
What
you
if
know,
I have a client who says, I'd like to get appraisal on my house? We can just call you, right?
Yeah.
You can just do that on your own?
Yep. And a lot of times when people call me, the first thing I say, because I love these relationships, hey, can I share that appraisal with your agent? Or do you have a trusted agent?
Yeah.
Because agents don't want to share their clients.
Yeah.
But I got 3 jobs. I don't need to take somebody's client away. So
That's
I'm really
why-
conscious on that too. And plus we
Interesting.
have disclosures on.
That's
who
why
we can
I pay
share
for
it
the
with.
appraisal, though, so it's my property.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's a
no.
write-off for me. So
Oh, as the agent.
As the agent.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, this is a very unique property. This is where I think it's priced, but I'm going to get a pre-appraisal just to be. And
Yeah.
then, you can have it, but,
It's mine.
It's mine.
You're
It's
talking
mine.
to you, and then you give me
Yeah.
permission to talk to the buyer or not. I got to have
Correct.
written permission who all I can talk
Interesting.
yeah. I just think it's
Thank
really
you.
neat.
We could
Pricing
talk all day.
houses is, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yep.
I do not take it lightly. And it's a volume play. That's just what, I mean, it's like anything, it's at-bats. The
Yep.
more you
Yes,
do it, the
for
better
sure.
you
Yeah.
are. And it's, I'm very blessed. I get to do a lot of it. You get to do a lot of it. I've gotten better because I put time into it. When I was a new agent, I would just comp houses that I had looked at.
That's what Brokers Opens used to be for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
I mean, literally, just go to the Brokers Open so you can get a feel for the market
For
if
what
you
the
don't
house
have
is.
listings or you don't have buyers.
But it's going to be hard to get as many at-bats as you. That's just a reality.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and so I just think it's a skill set that I hope people can recognize and that you're allowed to lean into. That's
Yeah.
all.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be kind to your appraisals or appraisers in November and
Yes,
December.
please.
Yeah. Cool. We'll get your information out here at the end of it. We'll jump into the numbers really, really quick. So for me and Fishers, I had 48 go on the market last week. 40 of them are still there. So I only moved 8 within a week.
wow.
But 43 pended.
Right.
Right.
No,
So
I know, it's great.
So I mean, there's a ton of movement in Fishers.
Mm-hmm.
I have 181 on the market. Average days is 29. Median is 14, which has come down pretty significantly. But that's also because I got rid of some stale stuff. Noblesville had 29 go on the market. 20 of those are still on there, so 9 pended within a week, but I had 31. So actually, 31 pended last week, so I actually lost some inventory in Noblesville, even though it was less than in Fishers as far as how many sold. I actually lost inventory in Noblesville. They also have 181 on the market. Average days on market is 27, and the median is 15. And it'll be very interesting to see where we're at. I mean, I've got Mother's Day, I've got Memorial Day, and then
Oh yeah, race month and it's everything, graduation,
had
college
the
kids
mini.
coming back.
Yeah.
This May is usually slower
I did.
for everything going on. At least the last 2 weeks.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see what our next month kind of looks like.
So Carmel, boy, it's crazy. 50 houses hit the market last week. That's 9 more than last week, but 23 of those pended, so almost half of them pended right in that first 7 days. A total of 40 pended last week. Average days on market's 23.
Half of them pended in a week. Mm-hmm. That's a really big number.
Carmel's stats and Westfield stats are pretty impressive. So it's average days 23 and 4 is the median for the ones that pended. Currently, there's 154 active in Carmel. Their average days on market's 88 and 54, so still high for those sitting. 122 sold in the past 30 days. That was 12 more than the last 30-day count, and days on market are now 25 and 5. So we've been staying steady in Carmel of the average around 20 days and the median around 4 for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Westfield, 55 hit the market last week, as 13 more than the week before. 22 of those pended, so just under a half, and a total of 47 pended. So 31 was the average days on market, 9 was the median. And just from last week in the pendings, there were 16 more than last week. So Westfield and Carmel just had a busy week last week. 140 are how many sold in the past 30 days, and average days on market was 49 and 11. and there's currently 230 active in Westfield with an average days of 72, so that's coming down. 104 of those 230 are new builds in Westfield.
That's so big.
I know. Zionsville's 28 hit the market. That was 7 more than last week. On average, there are 14 pended of those 28, so half again, and 21 pended total, with 15 as the average days on market and 3 median. There's 49 that sold in the past 30 days, an average day of 33 and 8. And then there's 57 currently on the market in Zionsville with an average day of 87. So a much higher of those sitting and not selling. But busy Carmel and Westfield market.
I've been looking at Westfield new constructions with a client, and the interesting thing about that number is like it makes it sound so bad, but it's across so many price points and different builders. Like if I'm looking at Lennar, they're like, here's 3 in this neighborhood at this price point. Here's 4 in this neighborhood at like maybe 110 higher price point, and then you spread that across Pulte, MI. All of this stuff. It's not hard to get to that number, actually. It's not like 27 of the same exact house, right? Like, it's just not. It's actually spread pretty far and wide. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so I appreciate you coming on here. I think we should have you back on in November.
Yeah. Like or towards
or just beginning of December and be like, hey,
how'd it
how
go?
bad is it?
It's no big deal.
Do you have a drinking problem
Right?
yet?
How bad is it? Problem.
Or just agents pay attention towards October when you're doing your deals, just
That's
to
right.
give you some grace, right?
Yeah,
Give you some.
That's right. We're going to
breathing
probably be
room.
calling you now asking for data because we've got to have 100% of that form has to be filled out before we send it on.
But 2 days before your actual appointment.
Right? Give us the data early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Perfect.
So if anybody want to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
Yep. 317-491-4424.
All right. I'm Kyle Morris with Morris Property Group and FC Tucker. My number is 317-649-5122. I was looking at you. Didn't even get my number out.
I know. I was waiting. Shelly Walters with the Shelly Walters Realty Group and FC Tucker. My phone number is 317-201-2601. See you next week.